Alright, what's up YouTube? So I'm stopped here in Virginia, about an hour away from this delivery. I got to deliver to that solar power facility in Spring Grove or Springs Grove, something like that, Virginia. About an hour away from my delivery. And I can't deliver early, so I'm pretty much stuck here until tomorrow. The earliest I can deliver is 9 a.m. And the latest is 2 p.m. So pretty much I'm stuck waiting here until, tomorrow by probably about 7, 8 in the morning. I'll probably take it easy tomorrow. I've been taking it easy for the past couple days, if you haven't noticed by the lack of uploads. And that's just been because they gave me more time than I needed to deliver this load, and this is the last one going home. Couldn't deliver today anyway, and I wasn't gonna make it yesterday. But the only reason why is because they don't take deliveries on the weekend, and same thing for Sunday. The earliest they'll take me is Monday, so I gotta wait till tomorrow before I can deliver. But technically, I'm a day early for the appointment, which works out fine. How have you guys been? I know you guys probably been waiting on some uploads and stuff. And I promised I would start uploading more. I'm trying. I still need to get a GoPro or something. If you guys can recommend a camera that'll mount up on the windshield or on the dash and look out the windshield, that'd be perfect, and I can look into that. Today was my lazy day, so forgive me for my disheveled look. But tomorrow is the professional day because we are delivering, so we'll have to look presentable, so that we can ensure that our company continues to get, good reviews from customers, and et cetera, et cetera. I got nothing to do over this weekend. It's gonna suck, but I'll probably sit around and play some video games, or go out with my dad to the gun range after the 4th, and we'll see if we can go shooting together or something. See if I can videotape that or not. In other words, I ain't really got a whole lot going on. I'm gonna make a video tomorrow when I get there, for so that you guys can see just what kind of places, if you're getting into trucking, what kind of places you can expect to deliver to. And another thing I'd like to touch on is the fact that I know, like, recently there's been a lot of BS about the whole you shouldn't wear sandals and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But if I'm not delivering to a shipper or receiver, if I'm not picking up a load or delivering a load, I'll dress any damn way I want. And the thing is, the same people that tell you not to wear sandals, this, that, and the other, are the same people that actually do it themselves. Trust me, I see them in their long hood trucks. I see them get out. They're not dressed to the nines. They're not dressed to the nines getting out of their long hood trucks every single day. I challenge anybody to dress in so-called proper attire every single day when you're a truck driver, because some days you feel like you just want to take it easy. Some days you feel like you want to look clean and professional, this, that, and the other, blah 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 blah. All right, but for you people coming into the industry, it's probably of more pertinence that we dress in jeans and boots, because technically, I mean, all right. So if I'm a new employee in a company, you want to give a good impression. But once those impressions are made, you can kind of just lax, take a chill pill. Turn off my CB radio here, actually. I got a new CB radio, by the way, too. I got a Cobra 29 LTD. But I got to get new antennas because the ones they equip on the Kenworths are wrong, and it shorted out my other CB radio. And currently I've only got like maybe a mile of range. Pretty much just whatever's within viewing of where I can see is what I can talk to. So I don't have a whole lot of range, and it starts to crack up probably about 3/4 of a mile down the road. So I want to work on getting some new antennas or going to a CB shop and getting that taken care of. But I'll reinforce this point for you new guys coming into the industry. Get a CB radio, and when you get it in your truck, leave it on every single day until you stop. And just talk, make conversation with some other drivers out there. You might learn some things. You might learn some very important things. Sometimes, for instance, when I was in Wisconsin this past couple months ago, we had all those blizzards and stuff that came through. I went through all of that with a light loaded trailer, and there's a lot of people spinning out on the highway, and they weren't going super fast. They were going pretty slow. That's just the way the ice is, that happens. But I kept it at like probably 35 miles an hour and made maybe 20 miles that day. And against better judgment, I went out on the road, and I figured out pretty quickly that wasn't very smart. I should have just waited to the next day. But I was trying to make some headway. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible so I can get into some better climate and start racking up the miles again. So sometimes things like that will push you to go out against better judgment in bad weather and do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do, especially when money's on the line or you've got bills at home you've got to pay, things like that tend to commonly push you against common sense sometimes. But the reason I say it was against better judgment is because I had my CB on when I got up in the morning, and I turned it on. I turned it on, and I just keyed up and asked about what the weather conditions were. Oh, hold up. Alright, there we go. But I asked what the weather conditions were supposed to be like, and some old timer keyed up and he said that if you're going out there, you're stupid. I would park it and sit. And generally, if an owner operator is telling you to just park it and sit, you should probably do that, especially if it's an old guy. The old guys have been out here for a long time. They know what they're talking about, and they know what they're doing. They're not the ones you see, jackknifed off of the shoulder onto the highway and everything else. Also, if you're just coming into this industry, I would definitely consider going to a company that's going to train you for the inevitable, and that is the bad weather. When I first started, and I went through Schneider, like I told you. Hang on. When I went through Schneider, like I told you I did, we had training for those specific engagements in the day. So for ice and snow, because I live in North Carolina, they didn't really have a skid pad per se, but they had a A simulator, that's what it was. And I did all right on the ice and the snow. And it transitioned over into my regular driving because the first winter I went through, I had the exact same situation as a simulator. And because I had already had those motions pat down and I knew what to do, I was able to get myself out of it before it got any worse. For what was it? We had one simulation that was heavy fog, right? So you're going through this mountain pass, and there's no. It's really nice weather, and then you get into the fog, and it's really, really thick, heavy fog. Well, you know, I started to slow down on the simulator, and from that point on, all of a sudden, out of God knows where, come up on a scene that's strewn across the entire road, the entire interstate, right? Ambulances, fire trucks, police vehicles with their lights on, but you can't see them through the fog because it's so thick until you're right on top of them. And they actually modeled this after a real incident that happened. This poor truck driver that was working for Schneider at the time plowed through a scene and killed a lot of people. Not by his own fault, but because the fog was so thick, he didn't have time to react. And even though he had slowed down, even simply continuing on, even at 25 miles an hour was too much. And he didn't have that much time to react, and so he killed a lot of people. And that's just a consensus of what you can expect out here to be thrown at you headlong. And one thing that you should prepare for is inclement weather. Inclement weather is no joke. One of these rigs jackknifes, or it starts to, you have to understand what it is you got to do to keep it from happening, and how you can keep yourself safe and alive so you can go home another day and not in a wooden casket. Or so that you can go home and not be stuck in prison because, I don't know, maybe you were too busy on your phone or any other thing, really. That's one of those things about truck driving. You need to be prepared to go to prison for your job, because if you kill somebody, it's highly likely that they will blame it on you, even though it is not your fault. A lot of people out there like to say, no matter what happens, it's always the truck driver's fault. And we all know that's not true. In fact, I think, what was it? I think a study showed it was like 70 or 80% of all accidents involving a semi-truck were actually caused by passenger vehicles. They're the four-wheelers, we say. It's just something to think about before you come out here and do this. Is it really something you're prepared to do, to deal with? On a daily basis, by the way. Literally on a daily basis. Just the other day, when I was coming through Cleveland, and well, it wasn't necessarily the other day, but last week, rather, when I was coming through Cleveland on I-80, and there's a turn inside the city of Cleveland you have to take to continue on I-80 West, and it brings you up by the Great Lakes. Well, there's a curve there that's a 45-mile-an-hour curve. You've got 4 lanes going one way. 2 of those lanes go off to the right and 2 go off to the left. Well, the ones on the left are the one you want to take. I was in the 3rd lane to the right, trying to stay out of everybody's way. Seen the signs well before I had, seen the signs well before the turn came up. And I'd put on my blinker and was waiting for an opportunity to get over, and a car was going to let me over. And as soon as I went to go start to change lanes, thank God I had just looked at I was about to look over in my mirror when it happened, so I was looking left as it was happening, but I had looked in my mirror, made sure everything was clear. I took my time getting into the lane, and even that was not enough to very barely miss a collision with another car because the other car came speeding up in a 45-mile-an-hour zone at 70 miles an hour and decided he was going to take my lane while I was changing lanes. It's something that you have to be prepared to deal with on a daily basis. And here at DART, they just want everybody to be safe. They just want safe drivers, and I appreciate that. And I've even started challenging myself for the following distance, at least less than 2 seconds following distance. Sometimes you get stuck behind someone slow and you're trying to get over in the next lane, but people aren't letting you, so you crawl up onto them and then want to get over, but it's not worth it. It's not. If the system thinks you're too close, it's gonna hit the brakes hard, number one. And number two, if they brake really hard, you're gonna hit them. So I'm trying to make myself a better driver every single day. That's what I'm really trying to say. I don't consider myself any kind of great driver. I'm not the best there is. I know that. I've been in tight places and all that nonsense, yada yada yada. Been in some of the worst traffic I've ever seen in my life for a country boy like myself, and never having to deal with traffic like that until I started doing this. But by the grace of God and luck, I haven't ended up in any accidents, and I'm very thankful for that. But that person merged over on top of me while I was merging over into the other lane, and what it was is they were trying to get over to the other two lanes because they were in the far left one because they weren't paying attention. They were probably on their phone. And when I honked the horn, I laid on the air horn, and that kind of finally made them wake up and realize what they had just done. Had we had hit at the speed they were going and the speed I was going, I'm doing 45, but I was pretty heavily loaded with paper rolls. My truck was not going to stop. And it probably would have either killed or severely injured that person. So I'm going to end the video here because it's starting to get kind of long in the tooth. But that's just some of the stuff that we deal with on a daily basis out here in trucking. I hope you guys are staying safe and have a blessed day and a very, very blessed and very good 4th of July, and happy Independence Day to you all. Bye.